What's up? It's your man Chazz Ellis, once again answering the questions that you asked me. Make sure you go to the ChazzEllisProject.com, be a part of picking the next video. Also, if you want to get a consultation or you want to get a quick question answered, you can go there also, the ChazzEllisProject.com. Also, if you want to make a donation to keep these videos going, we appreciate that too. This question was coming from a young lady that hit me up, and she said, why is it that guys hate the 90-day rule so much? It's pretty normal that a lot of guys hate the 90-day rule. It kind of pisses them off. And a lot of you girls have experienced that. I know because I get a lot of questions from females every single day. And a lot of them reflect that dudes just really hate the 90-day rule. Now, there's different reasons for why guys hate the 90-day rule. Some guys just want to hit it real quick, and that's why they hate the 90-day rule. But there are actually guys who legitimately like you and want to be in a relationship with you that hate the 90-day rule also. And the reason for that, there's plenty of reasons, but mostly what it boils down to is when you put a rule out there like the 90-day rule, basically you're taking control of the relationship and in some cases even trying to take control of someone else's sexuality. And what I mean by that is you got to think, if you're saying we're supposed to be in a committed relationship with one another, I am waiting 90 days to have sex with you, and I want you to wait 90 days to have sex because you're not allowed to have sex with anybody else. Basically, you're telling them that they're not allowed to have sex for 90 days. I mean, you've taken control of both of your sexuality. You've taken control of both of your ability to have sex with someone. So, I mean, it's kind of, some people feel like they're being imprisoned by that, you know. So, because it's like, it'd be different if you were like, look, you don't have to exclusively be seeing me until we get past this 90-day period. Because a lot of people want, and here's the thing about the 90-day rule that bothers a lot of guys. It's kind of one of these things where you want to get everything that you should be getting out of a relationship from a guy. You said, I want to hold hands. I want to meet your family members. I want to go on dates. I want to do this, that, and the other. I want to get all of this out of this relationship. And a guy is thinking to himself, well, I mean, that stuff is cool and everything, but I want to have sex. That's a big part of a relationship for me. And for 90 days, I'm giving you all of these things that I give in a relationship, and I'm not getting one of the major things that I want to get out of a relationship. Then you have to understand the fact that it's not like, be real, let's be real, you know, we grown, let's talk real. It's not like you guys are going to have sex in 90 days, and if dude pulls out the smallest penis you've ever seen in your life, and the sex is horrible, it's not like y'all have a relationship after that. It's not like, I mean, maybe, and I do a real maybe. If it's horrible sex, y'all probably never have sex again. Let's be real. Let's be real and honest here. If it's horrible sex, you probably never have sex with that dude again. So he just wasted 90 days of his life, just like you wasted 90 days of yours. He spent money, and I know a lot of women are like, I got my own money. I pay for my own stuff. Okay, I don't need no man to pay for my money. First of all, even if you do have your own money, most of y'all are gonna want to go on a date and have a guy pay for it. Be real. But even if you do pay for your own stuff, he still made an investment, because just like he paid for his own food on that date with you, he could have paid for his food, somebody else's food, and probably got sex. So he's spending time with you. That's an investment. And you know, men know more about women than you guys think we do. We know you don't want to go to dinner by yourself. That's, some of y'all put at the bottom over here, y'all type, yeah, I do want to go to dinner by myself. But you got to remember, I get like 100 emails a day from women. You can't fool me. I talk to more women than you do. So you can't fool me. You don't want to go to dinner by yourself. You don't want to go to movies by yourself. That's just not your makeup. There might be 1% or 2% of y'all that do want that, but you don't represent the whole, so it doesn't matter. So y'all mostly, for the most part, don't want to go to dinner and stuff by yourself. So if y'all both pay for your own dinner, you're getting something out of it and he's really not. A dude will go eat by himself in the New York Minute. A dude will be in his drawers in his crib eating and be just as happy as being out there with a girl. So that's just how men are programmed. We don't really care. We'll be eating wings with our homeboys or something like that, watching the game. And that'd be just as good to us. So you're getting something out of those dates regardless, even if you did pay for yourself, which most of the time you're not. Be real. You act like dudes don't go out with other women. We know this situation. We know that you're not about to pay for all of those dates. So what happens is there's a lot of investment on his end. If he's not having sex, it's basically like this. It's basically like, okay, I'll put it to you like this. It's basically like we went into business together, right? And you was like, hey, man, let's get this business. Let's do this partnership. And I was like, cool, man, that's a good idea. And he was like, okay, here's what we're going to do in this partnership. It's going to basically be 50-50. We both do the same things. You're like, okay, cool. That's cool. Okay, here's what I need you to do, though. I need you to put your money in right now. All right, put all your money in. And what I'm going to do is I need to get myself together and make sure I want to do this business. So 90 days from now, I'm going to put all of my money in. I'm going to put some in now, a little bit in now, but not really nothing that's important to me. But I want you to put all of your money in now. And then in 90 days, if I think the business is working good and I'm interested, then I'm going to put my money in. I'm going to put all of mine in. Okay, is that fair? Now, if I said I would do that, then I'm an idiot. And I have no business trying to run any kind of a business. I'm never going to be successful because I'm stupid. If I was to say, yeah, that's a good deal, basically I'm putting myself in a position where I put all my money out there, all my resources out there, all my time building this business, and you're not all in. So if things look a little shaky, you're going to be like, I'm going to go do something else. And I've already lost a lot of my resources that I'm not going to be able to get back. Now, what you've done is you've hedged your bets. You've taken what you wanted to out of this business and had the opportunity to have something great, but you didn't sacrifice anything that you really cared about. And that's kind of what the 90-day rule is to most guys. It's like, sacrifice your time. These are things that guys really care about. We don't want to take your ass out on a date if we don't really care about you. Duh. How many people complain every single day that dudes won't take them out on dates? If that was a big priority for us to go out on dates, wouldn't we just take everybody out? All right. So that's big to us. Just because it's not big to you doesn't mean it's not big to us. Taking you out on dates, meeting family, doing things like that. These are chores. These are things that we have to do because we feel like this is part of the business, the partnership, the relationship. That's the big business. That's the partnership that we're doing. If we don't we put those things in, even though we don't always want to because we want to build the relationship. And we feel like you're all in also. But when you're sitting back and you're saying, I'm not going to give up sex, it's saying you're not really all in to us. You're expecting a relationship, but you're not really all in. And that's where a lot of guys get upset because, like, okay, if you walk away from this situation, I basically threw all my money down this hole to give to you, and I've thrown my time and energy, and at the end of the day, you still walk off. You didn't even have sex with me. Now I'm in a situation where I'm embarrassed because I've been with you 2 months, or maybe even it could even be I was with you 89 days, and in this situation it broke off. It didn't work out, and you basically dictated how things were going to go in terms of when we were going to have sex and all of that. And I didn't have sex with you, so now my friends are looking at me like I'm stupid. And I'm looking at myself like I'm stupid. Like, okay, I spent this money and all this. I put my time and effort in. And it's not even about the money. It's about the effort and the energy that goes into being in a relationship with somebody. And the time you could have spent with somebody else. So it's kind of like a battle between men and women for that reason. It's like women don't want to give a dude sex right up front because it's like you haven't put in the time, energy, and effort to get sex. So it's like the other way around. Like, what if I gave you all of my money and 90 days later, you know, it's so the deal kind of is, it's going to always be an at odds thing. But this is why guys hate the 90-day rule, because they don't like the fact that they're in a deal that really doesn't feel fair to them. This is why women don't generally like to give it up on the first date, because they feel like they're entering into a deal that doesn't feel fair to them. But the truth of the matter is, ultimately, sex matters to both people for the most part. Most people do care about sex. For most people, sex is important. And if it's not good or whatever the case may be, that kind of makes the relationship shaky. And a lot of times if a girl doesn't really like your sex, she's going to treat you a certain way, you know, not as good as somebody whose sex she does like. That's normal. You know, if a girl really likes your sex, she's going to treat you a little bit better. We men know that. We know that. So when a guy waits 90 days, has sex with you, that's going to change the balance of power again. Because if the sex was kind of whack, he might have just wasted 90 days just like you wasted 90 days. Because now he's never going to sleep with you again. Y'all not going to have a relationship. It's like, you're not going to want to put up with that for most women. I'm not saying all women. Some women will put up with the worst sex of their lives forever. I'm not saying that somebody won't do that, but for the most part, women ain't putting up with that either. So, and your sex might be whacked to him. Y'all might have got together, and he might think the sex is the worst thing that ever happened. He might be like, this is horrible. And he may not want to be invested anymore. But now he's put all his time and energy in. So, the 90-day rule, I understand why people do it, but you have to understand why guys generally hate it and why it annoys guys so much. Because it's just like you're taking control over the entire relationship and expecting certain things out of them and not being willing to give yourself fully to them. So a lot of guys are like, okay, if we're not having sex, then we don't need to really be in an exclusive relationship either. I think there has to be some middle ground when it comes to the 90-day type of thing, or not even just making a 90-day rule, but I think there has to be a middle ground where both people, where you say, okay, here's what we're going to do in terms of sex, and here's where we're both making sure that we're getting something out of this. It might even be a situation where it's like, I'll pay for this date, you pay for that date. You pick a place you want to go, I'll pick a place I want to go. That way, I'm going to monster truck rallies with you, and you going to see the Notebook 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, whatever. You going to see that with me. That way, you're not wasting your time, I'm not wasting my time. You're going to see the basketball game, I'll pay for you to go see the basketball game, and you pay for me to go see something. We're both investing the same amount of time, and we're not doing a time limit where it's like, okay, it's 90 days or whatever. It's just basically saying if we like each other, we want to get together, we might even get married in less than 90 days. Hey, people used to do it all the time, and it used to work. So they didn't used to have long engagements all the time like they do now. So it's one of those things where I think when you put the time limit on it and say 90 days, and you kind of take control of the situation, people don't like you taking control of their genitals and saying they can't have sex. It kind of makes a person feel bad, makes them feel kind of like a little kid or whatever, or like they're being played. And I think that's one of the biggest things that make guys mad about it. So I think when you find that common ground and say, okay, here's what I'm wanting to do, here's what I expect. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and say we have to be in a relationship right off top. Since we're not having sex, we can get to know each other on a friendly level, and it can be open and free. You can't expect a dude to wait a certain amount of time to have sex with you, and you be the only person that they're talking to and stuff like that, because they might tell you they're all in, but there's not going to be a lot of dudes with options that are going to be all in, with that kind of rule up in the air. Most dudes are going to sleep with other girls during that time period, especially if they got a lot of options, because they're like, you know what? No. So you got to kind of work out something where both of you got to sit down and talk, and not just come in with your 90-day rule, but come in with something that works for both of you, that they can agree to and make an honest agreement to, and not just because what's been happening to a lot of women is dudes been smashing other girls anyway and just not telling them, and then as soon as they hit after 90 days, it's like, you know what, deuces, you fall in the same. They feel like they won already because that's all they really had to look forward to. So I think you got to be careful with that. You really do. And work out something that works for both of you. That way you know for a fact. Because sometimes you're with somebody who doesn't want to have sex either. Perfect. But you got to work out something that works for both of you. That both of you are going to be able to agree with. That's mutually beneficial. That works has a real relationship that both of y'all can be happy with. Hopefully I was able to help you out. Once again, it's your man, Chazz Ellis. Make sure you hit me up on the ChazzEllisProject.com. Also, hit me up on Ask Chazz Ellis on Facebook. Make sure you share this video with somebody else. Oh, yeah, like and subscribe. Peace.